Hey guys, this is Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm and also founder, owner, brewer at Barrow Brewing Company in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. This is our beer styles segment where we talk about a different beer style every week. This week will be chocolate and coffee beer. Now for chocolate beer, light amber to black would be a good color depending on the underlying style. It could be clear or hazy, and usually the chocolate beer I've seen is dark, but it could be light. I've tasted some beer, that I'm just surprised. Like there's a chocolate taste in it. Aroma can be medium low to medium high, malt sweetness, balanced with cocoa flavors and aromas. Hop aroma is not perceived to very low, so you want the chocolate to be pronounced. It's not really a hoppy beer. Chocolate beers are any beers incorporating dark chocolate or cocoa in any form. Beers made with white chocolate, however, do not typify this category. It'd be something else. But the chocolate can be cocoa nibs. There's a company out there that does liquid chocolate that you can pour in. So it could be a wide range of chocolate that you add into it in forms. The ABV, alcohol by volume, varies with the style. It could be high or low. Bitterness is usually very low to medium low. Not really a bitter beer, more of a sweet beer. For coffee beer, the color should be pale to black, depending on the underlying style. And it can be clear or hazy. But usually the coffee beer I've had is dark. But there are light ones. Like I said, same thing with chocolate. Could be light. Aroma would be medium low to medium high malt sweetness, balanced with coffee flavors and aromas. So you want the coffee to be pronounced. You want it to be out there. The hop aroma is the same. It's low. It could be low or high depending on the underlying style. But the ones that I've had were pretty low. The hop aroma, you really don't notice the hops in it. Perceived bitterness varies with the underlying style. And coffee beers can incorporate coffee in any form. The coffee character should be apparent as the defining attribute of this category. It should be pronounced. But ranging from subtle to intense. But you should taste it and smell it. It should be there. And it should be in harmony with the other attributes of the underlying beer. Other flavors may also be present. So coffee, you can introduce, some people do coffee grinds in the mash, and that's how they introduce the coffee in. We do an Oreo infused Java porter, where we infuse like about 5 gallons of cold brew coffee and about 200 gallons of beer. So we just pour it into the bright tank while it's carbonating, and that's how we introduce our coffee. So there's a wide range of ways you can introduce the coffee. Within the framework of these competition guidelines, stouts and porters made with coffee are entered elsewhere. So to talk about that category, a coffee stout or porter, the color would be dark copper to black, depending on the underlying stout or porter style. It's a dark beer. Stouts and porters are darker beers. They use darker grains that are roasted more. That's why they're dark. Clarity, usually opaque. Cleared or hazy beer is acceptable in appearance in paler entries. So it could be hazy. If it's a coffee beer, it could be lighter. Perceived malt and aroma and flavor, typical of underlying stout or porter beer style, and balanced with the coffee flavor and aroma. So just depending on the style. Perceived hop and aroma and flavor could be low to high depending on the style. But I really haven't had any beers, coffee beers that had high hop and aroma and flavor. Coffee stouts and porters incorporate coffee in any form. Coffee character can range from subtle to intense. Should be in harmony with the attributes of the underlying beer without unpleasant astringency. Now, what is astringency? Astringency is it's like if you drink some young red wine, or to the extreme, you suck on a tea bag. It's that puckering, or help yourself to a nice big piece of underripe fruit. Right? If you eat a banana that's not aged, ripened, it's that dryness. It's that dry, puckery, thirst-inducing sensation. That's astringency. We don't want that in beer. The grain mash, starch to sugar, that could happen when you introduce grain into the hot water. That's when you convert that starch to sugar, and that sugar is what the yeast attacks, and it creates alcohol and CO2. But if you steep that grain too long, or if it's too hot, then it could create that puckery, astringent, which we don't want. We do it we mash at 52 degrees for about 1 or 2 hours and extract sugar, so that works out okay. Glassware, what to serve it in? Usually, pint glass would be good, or if you want the aroma, you do like a Belgian style glass to get that aroma out of the beer. If it's that chocolate or coffee, that's good. Like I said, we make a beer called Cake, and we use that Belgian style glass for that because you want to have all the chocolate and coffee come out, and then we throw a scoop of vanilla ice cream in and give them a spoon, and they're happy. So we have a beer float. And everybody's coming in asking for that. I have to make more. I'll let everybody know when it's out, but we're going to make more. Examples of these beers is a Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout from Brooklyn Brewery. From their website, this is the famous Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout. And they go on to say, in the 18th century, Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, ordered a stout to be sent to her from England. And the beer was brewed strong and hoppy to survive the sea voyage. It arrived in perfect condition. Soon the Russian Imperial Stout became the toast of the Russian aristocracy. So, like for IPA, India Pale Ale, they just threw a lot of hops in it, and that would preserve the beer. The hops preserve the beer. And then when it got to its destination, in India, the beer would be okay. So that's where the IPA came about, and I guess the Russian Imperial Stout was the same way. They threw hops in as to preserve it. They brewed this Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout since 1994. They say it became a modern classic. It heralded the world over. It achieves a dark chocolate aroma and flavor through the artful blending of 6 malts and 3 distinct mashes. Properly kept, it will improve in the bottle for many years. So there's a huge process that goes to making this beer. It's probably excellent. I haven't had it, but the way it's described is probably really, really good. And you could age it. You put it in a bottle, you can keep it and age it in the bottle. And it's the toast of the winter season in many countries, and there is nothing better to enjoy with chocolate desserts, cheesecake, ice cream, fine cheeses, or roaring fireplaces. So it's a nice hearty stout. This and chocolate pronouncement, Russian Imperial Stout. Those are usually delicious. If you haven't had a Russian Imperial Stout, go out and try one. They're very good, rich and delicious. So, and it's a 10% ABV, so it's a high ABV. If it's an Imperial Stout, usually anything over 8%, they start calling it Imperial. Another one is Bourbon County brand Coffee Stout, and that's from Goose Island Beer Company. I've tasted this in the past. They make a new one every year. It's delicious. If you can get your hands on it, get some and try it. Just pull something off the internet for 2015. They used coffee from Nicaragua. It's Intelligentsia Los Del Rios coffee, and they use different types of coffee every year in their beers, and you can go on the internet and find that and go on their website. But the appearance for the Bourbon County brand Coffee Stout is very dark brown. They have ruby highlights when held to the light and sparse mocha head. Smell, intense coffee, vanilla, rich molasses, rich and buttery. And tastes much like the nose through the coffee is more, though the coffee is more subtle. And that's an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels. My God. And the ABV is 13.4. That's why it's delicious. So if you haven't had that, go out and try to find it. Good luck, though. Bourbon County brand coffee stout by Goose Island Company. And that is your coffee and chocolate beer. If you like what we're doing, if you like our podcast, please go on to iTunes, give us a rating and a review. We do this for you guys, but these ratings and reviews, just get us notched up in the iTunes category, and it allows more people to experience us and get knowledge and find out that there is an alternative to mass-produced watered-down beer, and that is delicious local craft beer. And the beers that I explained to you are made by local breweries, and they are delicious. They put a lot of work and effort into them, and you could taste it. It's excellent beer. Okay, guys, until next time, take care.